The automation of these skills will push the human professionals in the skill set ladder above. But the other human skills like creativity, social skills, social ability, empathy, sense making, which machines cannot automate. The integration of the AI into the workplace will come through an augmentation of human skills rather than the substitution of the jobs.
Digital disruption is much more than an abstract concept promoted by analysts and vendors. It is now a reality for most organizations. More than one third of executives in a recent Forbes Insight Tracer data survey say they are being directly affected by competition from digital and data savvy players in their market. Hello and welcome to the Honest Talk by Freak Folks. I'm Harsh Pandey. For this particular session, we have with us very special guest today, Ms. Neha Anand ma'am. She is currently working as a senior assistant director with FICCI within the logistics sector. She is a leading at FICCI's National Logistic Committee and as a member of FICCI's Foreign Trade and Trade Facilitation. She has 8 years of experience in strategic research, including business and market analysis, competitive intelligence, go-to-market strategies, consumer insights, industry and vertical insights, information gathering and change documentation, presentation and report writing, and business development activities. So first of all, ma'am, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us.
Thank you for having me, Harsh.
Thank you, ma'am. It's our pleasure. So moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen is leadership in the age of personalization. Actually, we need to understand technology is moving our world at a hyper speed and most businesses are scrambling to keep pace. From how they engage with customers to how they plan, respond, and position for the future. Everyday leaders, whether digital natives or business veterans, wake up to a new landscape and to a new decision for which there are no precedents. So my very first request to you is to please explain to our viewers how do leaders actually navigate this increasingly complex world?
See, the pace of change has picked up so quickly. To say that 2020 was the year of disruption and change is to understate the obvious. Nascent trends like virtualization of workspace, online learning, virtual health, e-commerce, everything has accelerated exponentially. Changes which were anticipated to take in years have occurred within months and in some cases in few weeks and even in days. So understandably, the leaders have struggled tremendously to address these overlapping changes simultaneously. But I think much of what we might think 2020 to be an anomaly, it might not be the case. Conditions for accelerating changes have been building for years. Advancement in information technology, automation, human interconnectivity, artificial intelligence, among others, have created a new reality where change is much more rapid, continual, and global. The new normal of the change, which is actually marked by 3 dimensions. It is perplex, it is occurring all the time in an ongoing way. It is pervasive, it is unfolding in multiple areas of your life all at once, and it is exponential. So of course, this 3D change is defining our emerging future, and as a consequence, effective leadership will be defined by the ability to navigate through these changes, through this new reality. The problem is that our leadership model wasn't built for this kind of 3D change. The human minds have always been evolved for thinking linearly and locally in the face of challenge and not exponentially. So to keep up with the pace, the leaders need to have a different approach rather than leader as a hero model. So in a world of 3D change, leaders need to continually evolve themselves in order for their organizations to evolve and grow. A leader must be willing to exhibit humility and flexibility and change according to what the organization and circumstances require. The leaders need to articulate a more humble and value-driven approach for the leadership. See, a leader's humility and authenticity and openness will instill trust and psychological safety amongst the employees. So, this trust and psychological safety will empower the individuals, the employees, the team to perform at their highest capabilities. So, what I mean to say is the psychological safety is much more important during these rapid changes times. Individuals and teams they actually thrive in an environment where trust and psychological safety are present. Finally, I also believe that a shared purpose and the common value also enhance focus, cohesion, and resilience among these changes.
Indeed, ma'am. I think you
Over
have,
to you, Harsh.
yes, actually you have defined very actually the quality required for the exceptional leadership. I think this is something we all need to understand. And ma'am, my next question to you is: we all are seeing the business world has changed dramatically over the last few decades, and now we now live in a connected society where the change can be fast-paced, constant, and unpredictable. Rapid advance in technology have created an environment where the internet, smartphone, and social media are ubiquitous, and the 2008 global financial crisis and this 2019-2020 pandemic has increased the sense of turbulence, danger, and unpredictability in the certain areas. So my question to you is, in your opinion, what are the critical skills required to excel in this fast-paced changing world? I'm sure you have defined the skills required to be a great leader, but what are the critical skills required for everyone to excel in this fast-paced changing world?
I think creativity is one of the top three skills, which is the foremost essential skill. With the avalanche of the new products, new technologies, and the new ways of working and thinking, workers are going to have to become much more creative in order to benefit from these changes. Critical thinking or the analytical thinking is also the foremost component. A person with a critical thinking skill set can suggest innovative solutions and ideas and solve complex problems using reasoning and logic and evaluate the arguments. I also believe that emotional intelligence is also one of the foremost area, because when you exhibit high emotional intelligence, you have more empathy, more integrity, and you work well with others. A machine cannot easily replace a human ability to connect with other human beings.
No.
So those with the most higher IQs will always be in high demand. Also, I believe that active learning with a growth mindset, a person with a growth mindset understands that their ability and intelligence can be developed, and that they know their efforts will build skills and will result in higher achievement. So lastly, I also say that people management and interpersonal skills are very, very, very important.
Exactly. People management and interpersonal skills are really very important. I understand this. And ma'am, my next question to you is, actually we need to understand this emerging technologies such as machine learning, artificial intelligence, so great promise in helping risk managers pinpoint a specific risk and develop faster responses. So my question to you is, do you think this technology can reduce the effect on lower risk areas and help manager focus their energies on real threat to critical part of the organizations?
Yes, definitely. I believe that artificial intelligence will make the workplace more human and not less. AI will indeed automate the most repetitive and physical tasks, and the part of the quantitative tasks like the coding, even the data science.
Yes.
But the automation of these skills will push the human professionals in the skill set ladder above for the other human skills like creativity, social skills, social ability, empathy, sense making, which machines cannot automate. The integration of the AI into the workplace will come through an augmentation of human skills rather than the substitution of the jobs. What I believe is AI is in fact will not automate jobs. AI will only automate certain skills in the jobs. So, like I said, AI will make the workplace more human and not less. This is just a gift to the mankind, and I believe that humans will need to change jobs and learn new skills throughout their lives, which is quite interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you have actually mentioned the Esther on the very right point. And I'm sure the people those who are watching this session, they are going to find us insightful. And my next question to you is, many people believe the future of gig work holds great potential because it tend to be more meaningful and rewarding in more than just the monetary aspects. And also we are right now seeing the great resignation is happening. So my question to you is, how do you see the future of gig economy?
See, I believe talking about the gig economy in India, it is a relatively late startup and it currently has 3 plus million workers. India has a lot of daily wage workers and micro entrepreneurs like plumbers, mechanics from a very long time. And
Right.
even after, every Indian city has a place called as a labor chalk, where many laborers work on day-to-day basis. We just never saw this as a specialized economy. And what we are seeing today is a gig economy.
Yes.
The COVID pandemic always has impacted the businesses around the globe and always has paved way. And it has paved way to accelerate these business thinking towards adopting the gig economy. The characteristics of the unique employment relationships topples the traditional ways of working in many ways. Since there is no employer employee relationships, the gig workers are not obligated to a particular employer, and therefore they have the greater flexibility in terms of the work they can choose and the hours where they can dedicate.
Yes.
Similarly, the businesses also enjoys similar flexibility, where they are not dependent on a particular set of people to get for executing their task, and they're also not binded by the social security and fixed remunerations that they are supposed to provide to an employee. So, like I said, it's a win-win situation for both the parties, but the ground reality is still quite very much complicated.
Indeed. And also, ma'am, there's one more challenge in front of all of us, that to foster actually reskilling and upskilling entire workforces. So my question to you is, in the face of rapid and continuous change, the need to reskill and upskill entire force is one of the most significant challenge we face today and for the foreseeable future. So what are some recommendations you have to foster reskilling and upskilling entire workforce?
See, it is quite clear that an individual's push won't be enough for fostering upskilling and reskilling efforts. It requires an organizational commitment, leadership sponsorship, and the belief that the investment is in skill is actually a key investment. The different things which the organizations can actually do is, they can focus on the workforce planning and talent assessment. Through this holistic approach of workforce approach, organizations can actually plan ahead in advance on what skills they need to buy, build, or borrow. This, coupled with the midterm and the short term assessment, will actually help the organizations in clearly identifying the reskills, the upskills, and the skilling decisions. Also, building a learning culture. Any investment by an organization won't sustain in the long run till the time it is conducive culture is there. I mean, that not only encourages but also celebrates learning. Performance management systems and rewards and recognitions framework should also facilitate the upskilling efforts of an employee. Starting afresh in failures during the learning should not be taken as against an employee. At the same time, the leader should also promote a learning culture to sustain skill investment. I also believe that you can experiment, organizations can experiment with the new models of learning, like gaming based learning or e-learning tools like application based learning, micro learning. This is also quite an interesting space which still needs to be explored. And lastly, communicate and just communicate with your employees. Organizations should continuously strive to communicate with employees about the need to learn and relearn and unlearn. While organizations can provide different learning platforms, the employees, it is important that the employee should also understand the need for continuous learning.
Indeed, ma'am.
Yeah.
Actually, you have defined the whole process, and I'm sure the people those are watching this session, they are going to find this meaningful. I'm truly very impressed from your this answer, ma'am. And my next question comes here is that actually this global pandemic and other recent share experiences have inspired us to ask, what else? What are the mindset and skill set that need to develop? What is the advice will be from your side to students those who are still in their colleges? What type of skills they must learn in their colleges days in order to make themselves more compatible with the industry demand?
I would say be assertive. There's an old saying that the squeaky wheel always gets the grease. It's not an old saying. I mean, the students will encounter several occasions when you will have to stand up for yourselves and make your voice heard. And depending upon the situation and the student, it can be easy or hard. But the more you do it, the easier it will become. Secondly, the technological skills. Today, many students are comfortable and they're able to navigate through the technology. And it's almost seems like that the kid is born with it. But if even if a student is not comfortable, they can still become familiar with some basic software programs, as well as like searching or accessing the information online.
Yes.
And well, we all know how important it is to manage your time and stress. And yes, of course, learning does not stop once the college is over. It be ready and open to learn throughout. I mean, always look at the positive side and welcome life with open arms. Lastly, I would say, display honesty, integrity, and perseverance, because learning to incorporate personal values and ethics into every aspect of life is very, very, very significant part of personal growth during a college experience. And
Right.
part of the path to integrity is how to hang in there and stay committed to the goals even when the situations are quite challenging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These are the really very valuable advice from your side, ma'am. And at last, I want to say, do you have any piece of advice, or I would be happy if you will give any piece of advice to our viewers, those who are watching this session?
I would say life is beautiful. The sky is open. Glow, explore it. Take life as it comes. Be open to learning. Be open to take up any challenge. And once you have that positive mind frame, you can conquer anything.
Exactly. And thank you so much, ma'am, for joining and giving your important time. It was a kind of a healthy conversation with you over the topic, and we look forward to conduct more such session with you in future. And thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Harsh, for having me on the show.
My pleasure, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you.
On the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone.